Hello, and I am back with another topic. Today I am going to be talking about self love and self discovery, or soul searching. I don't know which is the best title for this video. You guys can put your vote on it. Maybe I might rename it, so just let me know what catches on with you. Okay, so my idea today is to promote the idea of being who you want to be. There are so many factors, growing up. There are so many things that influence you to be the person that you are, to mold you into the person that you are today. But my message for today isn't coming from the external factors and how these people want you to be a certain way, Because at the end of the day, no matter how hard society tries to mold you into this one cookie cutter shape, you're gonna break free from that. You're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be like, fuck this shit. From all the oppression of how society wants you to be as a person in front of their eyes to satisfy their lust for perfection and flawlessness. No can do, no siree. I just think it's absolutely unachievable. And why I say this is because there is no such thing as perfection. Perfection is a figment of the imagination. Perfection is a fairy tale. Perfection is a myth. There's nothing perfect. If I could define perfect, that would mean all flaws combined. I feel that perfection and beauty of perfection and the love out of perfection is flaws. Just these series of powerful jumbled up flaws rolled up into a ball. And perfection is that. Perfection is contentment with yourself, despite not being perfect. I want to relate a story, okay? I'm not trying to dish anybody, because that's the last thing I would do, but I just want to show you how I transitioned from, my pre-adolescent mind into a young woman. I wouldn't say I'm entirely a woman. Yeah, I got it. No, I'm just kidding. I won't say that I'm 100% woman because there's a lot to learn in order to be an emotionally intelligent woman, a woman who is able to carry herself still despite whatever that's going on. Part of me does that, but I can never do it as a full-time job like most women do. I do it when I have to. And I feel it's something that I'm going to be learning as I progress in age. It's a coping skill that I will finally master at the end of the day. But growing up, I was always conditioned to be a certain way. I had to have my hair long, untouched, uncut, uncolored, virgin baby hair. I had to behave myself. Anywhere I went, I kept to myself. I kept quiet. Didn't even play with toys unless my mom would allow me to. Didn't let me go into people's rooms without permission. That is just how I was raised. My mom taught me that, and I thank her for that because I don't barge my business into a place that doesn't require my business. And then As I grew older, expectations were set higher. You know, I was supposed to be smart. I had to make sure I had all my grades on point, not a 98, make it 100. I had to be number one in class because we would have, our numbers. We would be literally coded and numbered. Who's the smartest, second smartest, third the smartest. That, which is a very, very unhealthy thing to do in a school, now that I think about it. But like I said, always conditioned to be number one, even if it meant putting your mental health in tormenting your mental health. And it's true. As a child, we are attacked by anxiety stemmed as a child. And it is the most scariest thing that the baby boomers have done to us. I'm just saying, parent-wise, especially coming from myself, coming from a Southeast Asian background where, you are in a way definitely honoring your family and you can't disappoint them. Not like that. And I just think to myself that, wow, I was supposed to be so many things at such a young age. This is why I am the way I am. This is why I suffer from extreme anxiety as I grow older. Anxiety is something that attacks a lot of people. I'm not going to say that it doesn't attack anybody. I think it really, I'm convinced that it affects everyone at some point of their lives. Some may be consistent, which is a day in, day out type thing. Some only get triggered from certain events, and some, they just pop out of nowhere. And it shows how much freedom we are to be ourselves. Anxiety stems from something that makes you so uncomfortable, but you were forced to do it anyways. And now that I think about it, it just hurts me a little bit because I was so conditioned to be that kind of person with that kind of attitude and carried myself when I was never that person to begin with. And you can see how at such a young age a mask is being put over our face to display to the world, to make the eyes of the world happy and not yourself. It was only this year that I decided to reclaim my own person. I had to rid myself of a toxic environment. I had to take care of my mental health and put myself first. I had to do things that made me happy. I had to do things that made me grow. I had to do things that healed me. And the biggest step for me was to walk out of my own house. And mind you, I just got done with school. I was in and out of the hospital, got myself in trouble a couple of times. I'm not financially stable. I'm none of these things. But I decided to pick up and leave. And when I left home, I felt a sense of relief. I felt that I could breathe again. And that says a lot. That says a lot, going back to a house that deprives you of oxygen and your will to live. That being somewhere else away from what you are familiar and known and grown with, that you just didn't need that anymore. I feel like it's so important to search for yourself. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we put up with the abuse, we put up with that kind of trauma just because we're comfortable, just because there's food on the table, just because there's a roof above our head, just because there's internet. Sometimes we are too comfortable with that. And we torture ourselves like that. Once I moved out to Montauk, it was a breath of fresh air. You know, every sunrise and sunset meant something, and I felt like I lived through all of them. I felt like the sun out there in the summertime just melts your eyes like honey. And I felt so good. I felt like I was healing from the inside. I look forward to nights than when I was in a toxic household. At night, I would worry. My anxiety would crash when I was at home, but when I was in Montauk, I had peace. I had security and a sense of family and a sense of love in the air. A sense of bruised, but so much love, you know. And then when I finally made the decision to move out to the city, I was afraid. I was so excited, but so afraid at the same time. I remember carrying my bags, navigating through the subways, trying to figure out how to take the R train to Woodside, because I didn't know. Didn't know anything. All I had was an app, battery that was dying, and 3 bags that damaged my little back for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, that messed my back up. And now I have a job. Not just one, but I have 2 jobs. And I'm not gonna mention them, but I'm so thankful to have that opportunity to, you know, restart my life again. Although I am backed up, especially when it comes to finances, like I am on the deep end, but I have 2 jobs. I have all my limbs. I'm not sick. You know, these are the things that I'm so thankful of, that I wake up every morning and I'm like, thank you. I have my peace of mind. And when I cut my hair when I was in Montauk before I left for the city, I decided to put an end to this. Put an end to all the pain and all the destruction that other people have intended for me, because I don't want them to control my life again. And I'm reclaiming that. I cut my hair short. I say what I want to say, and I don't think about what anyone else has to say. If this bears consequences in the future, then so be it. I want my child to open up this video and say, wow, my mom was a fucking rock star. Like, do what makes your soul happy. You can't have everything in the world, and everything is temporary. Money comes and goes. But do art, take pictures, make music, cook, eat. These are the little things that make you live. So do all of that, and you won't regret. You may not have all the riches in the world, no stacks of money, but your heart will be filled. And that is the best wealth that anybody can ask for. So grow, learn until you can't learn no more. I promise you, you won't regret it, not even one bit. Pinky promise.